Hello my radiant Leo soul. Today is not just another day. It is a day of divine alignment, a moment when something miraculous begins to unfold. And if you found your way to this video, know this, it's not a coincidence. The universe has summoned you here for a reason. Let me ask you, have you been sensing that something big is about to shift? Maybe you can't quite explain it, but deep inside, something feels different. Maybe you've been seeing repeating numbers, dreaming more vividly, or just feeling like your soul is being called somewhere new. Whatever it is, today, that inner knowing is being confirmed. And I'm here to help you uncover why. This reading is for June 27th, but more importantly, it's for the exact moment you pressed play. You're not here to be entertained. You're here because something inside you is ready to receive a sign. Ready to open. Ready to transform. And the message that's coming through today? It's big. It's personal. It's perfectly timed. Leo, you are ruled by the sun, the center of power, visibility, and warmth. When a day like this arrives, and the universe whispers, "Today is your lucky day," you don't ignore it, you rise to meet it. Because this moment, this seemingly ordinary moment, is actually extraordinary. Something unexpected is making its way toward you. And when it arrives, you'll look back and realize this video was the first key that opened the door. You see, miracles don't always show up with fanfare. Sometimes they come wrapped in stillness, in intuition, in a random video recommendation. But they come when your soul is ready. And Leo, yours is. Whether this miracle reveals itself through money, clarity, love, or simply a long overdue breakthrough, the energy surrounding you today is rare. It's the kind of energy that can turn everything around. But only if you meet it halfway. Only if you allow it in. That's why I want you to take a deep breath right now. Not a casual breath, a real, intentional breath that anchors you into this moment. This reading isn't about your future. It's about your readiness. And you are ready. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to share my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every view, every comment, every subscribe adds fuel to this channel, eternal mindfulness, and makes it possible for messages like this to reach those who truly need them. Thank you. From my heart to yours. And Leo, if this message already feels like it's for you, if your heart is nodding yes, then I want you to claim it. Type in the comments, "I am ready to receive my miracle today." Not for me, for you. As a way to signal to the universe that you are open, that you are aligned, that you are listening. Now stay with me. Because the energy that's about to unfold in this reading, it's not just powerful. It's transformational. Let's begin. Leo, what's moving through your life right now isn't random. It's the result of countless unseen shifts, inner choices you made when no one was watching, moments of discipline when it would have been easier to quit, and silent prayers you whispered when you weren't even sure who was listening. This is not a stroke of luck. This is the natural response of the universe to the frequency you've been radiating. And today, that frequency reaches a peak, a culmination of energy ready to erupt into visible momentum. As June draws to a close, cosmic patterns have aligned to place Leo, your sign of fire, vitality, and sovereignty, directly in the flow of awakening. The energetic tides have been building. In astrology, this is a time when the sun, your ruling planet, begins preparing for its return home to Leo in late July. But before that solar homecoming, the universe offers you a rare opening. The vibrations around you are encouraging acceleration, boldness, and creation. They're inviting you to say yes to something you've hesitated on, to move not from logic, but from a knowing that lives deeper than the mind. The presence of the star in today's message is no accident. This card arrives when there is renewal, when clarity follows confusion, and when the light at the end of the tunnel is no longer symbolic, but real. The star reminds us that healing doesn't come from forcing something into place, but from trusting that what has been broken is already in the process of mending. It invites you to soften not as weakness, but as wisdom. To open not out of naivety, but because you remember that life always flows better when you stop clutching the wheel. Alongside it, the Ace of Wands blazes in like a sacred match, lighting the fire that had been smoldering beneath the surface for too long. This is not just inspiration. It's initiation. The Ace is a call from the universe asking, will you begin again, not because you failed, but because you've outgrown the previous version of you? Will you let yourself be seen as you are now, not as who you used to be? The timing is perfect. The energies are ripe. And all you need to do is say yes. When the mind is quiet enough, you can feel this ignition. Not as noise or excitement, but as a pulse of aliveness, subtle, yet undeniable. It is the same aliveness that arises when the body sits still and the breath deepens. The same presence that blooms in a single moment of complete awareness. This is the beginning of true action, not driven by fear, but by clarity. There is a principle that says, when you stop trying to be someone, the one you truly are appears. And right now, Leo, that true self is rising through the ashes of old identities, roles, and attachments. What you are beginning isn't merely a new chapter, it's a new frequency. Like a sunbeam breaking through a sky that forgot what light looked like, your inner fire is piercing through the doubts that once clouded your view. And just like the sky doesn't apologize for clearing after the storm, you don't need to explain your awakening to anyone. You simply become it. Quietly. Powerfully. Authentically. This moment, this shift is yours. Let it begin. Leo, when the energy of giving and receiving begins to harmonize, it often shows up first not in your bank account, but in your awareness. There's a soft shift, subtle, but profound, where the grip of scarcity begins to loosen, and a sense of inner balance takes its place. The Six of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles arriving together today are not just tarot symbols, they are reflections of a very real energetic alignment taking place within and around you. This isn't about chance wealth or overnight success. It's about the karmic return of everything you've been pouring out quietly, without applause. Think about how often you give your time, your attention, your love, your patience. Often, that generosity goes unnoticed by the outside world. But the universe keeps perfect score, not through judgment, but through energy. Energy, once offered with sincerity, cannot be lost. It moves. It circulates. And when the conditions are right, it returns amplified. That's what today represents for you. The return of what you thought was gone. The unexpected miracle, not created from thin air, but from seeds you sowed long ago without realizing how deeply they would take root. In numerology, the number 27 reducing to 9 speaks to the end of a cycle. It's a closing chapter, but not an ending in the sorrowful sense. Rather, it's a completion that makes room for grace to enter. 9 teaches us that letting go is not about loss, but about liberation. What you release now, whether it's a limiting belief about your worth, a fear around money, or an outdated habit, creates the vacuum through which new blessings can flow. That's the paradox of true prosperity. Only when we stop clinging does the flow begin. The energy of 8, intertwined with the symbolism of power and financial abundance, reminds us that control is not found in hoarding, but in conscious stewardship. True wealth is not a number, it's a state of trust. When you trust in the unseen rhythms of life, your choices around money begin to change. You stop asking, "What can I get?" and begin asking, "How can I channel this?" That's the essence of abundance, movement, not possession. Circulation, not stagnation. When wealth flows through you, rather than getting trapped within you, it multiplies. And here's the quiet truth many overlook: prosperity is a practice. Not just a goal, but a way of relating to life. Small acts, done consistently, become sacred rituals. When you divide your income thoughtfully into what you need, what you can grow, and what you can give, you are honoring both the physical and energetic sides of money. This is the art of mindful management. It's less about control, more about intention. And when done with presence, it opens gateways you can't force with effort alone. There's a story passed quietly between teachers, that the moment you stop chasing what you think you need, what's meant for you begins to notice your stillness. It finds its way to you not because you demanded it, but because you became clear enough to receive it. Today's energy suggests that this is exactly what's happening in your life. The rewards, the recognition, the resources, they are circling back. Not as payment, but as response. Not because you earned it in a transactional way, but because you aligned with it energetically. So now, the question is not, will it come, but rather, will I recognize it when it does? Stay open. Stay curious. Stay generous, not only with others, but with yourself. And if the universe were to deposit something unexpected in your life today, a gift wrapped in surprise, what would you do with it first? What intention would you set for its use? Let your answer guide you, not only today, but in every decision that shapes your future wealth. There's a quiet moment in every journey when you feel the invitation, not loud, not dramatic, just a gentle but undeniable pull forward. That's what today is offering you. The Knight of Wands and the Fool together don't just signify action, they speak to a sacred threshold. One you don't step over by accident, but by choice. The kind of choice that doesn't wait for the perfect time or full clarity, but that trusts the simple wisdom of, now is enough. And Leo, with your heart of fire and your soul of courage, this is the exact kind of leap you were made for. You may feel like the future is unclear, and that's okay. Clarity is often the reward of movement, not its requirement. The Knight of Wands teaches us that passion can be the map, and that action, even small, imperfect action, is what transforms energy into reality. You don't need to know every step. You just need to choose the first one. And sometimes, the bravest act isn't leaping off a cliff. It's getting out of bed and declaring to yourself, I'm no longer stuck. The Fool's presence here is a quiet blessing, a reminder that not knowing can be liberating. That it's okay to begin again, or to begin something you've never dared to before. In many traditions of wisdom, it's said that the true beginning only comes when we empty ourselves of expectation. That real freedom arises when we no longer need to calculate every outcome, but instead begin to trust the step, the moment, the breath. Just like when a bird takes flight not because it knows where the wind will take it, but because its wings were made to move. Energetically, today is what's often called a transition gate. The cosmos is opening a space that allows for radical shift, but that space won't stay open forever. This is not about rushing. It's about recognizing the window while it's still lit. Think of this as a river current catching your foot. You can choose to fight it, or let it carry you towards something new. The choice is always yours. But know this, momentum builds when you meet energy with decision. So if you're wondering what to do with this opportunity, keep it simple. Take a piece of paper and write down 3 things your heart wants right now. Not vague dreams, clear, tangible desires. A new job. A healthier body. A phone call that needs to be made. Then pick just one of them. And do something, anything, in the next 24 hours that moves you toward it. It could be as small as sending an email, stretching your body for 5 minutes, or simply speaking that desire out loud. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. There's a teaching that says, when the decision is made, the path appears. That you are participating in the miracle that is already underway. Each choice becomes a letter to the cosmos, each action a whisper that says, I'm ready. Remember, Leo, you are not here to stand still. You are not here to circle the same thoughts, waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to begin. You are the sign of boldness, of radiant instinct. And this moment, this call to step into something new, is not here to intimidate you. It's here to remind you of who you are when you stop holding back. Letting go is rarely about the other person. It's not about proving them wrong, not about getting closure in some perfect, satisfying way. Most of the time, it's about no longer choosing to carry what no longer aligns with your becoming. The 5 of Swords and 4 of Pentacles arriving together paint a very human picture, the way we hold on tightly, even to things that hurt. We grip old versions of ourselves, outdated ideas of how we should be, stories we've told too many times about how others have treated us. And we do this because it makes us feel safe, even when that safety is lined with discomfort. But Leo, holding on is exhausting. Not just physically, but energetically. Every belief you clutch, every wound you refuse to name, every resentment you bury under forced smiles, it takes something from you. It limits how much light you can hold, how much love you can receive, how fully your energy can flow. The illusion is that you're protecting yourself. The truth is, you're slowing your own freedom. There's a simple teaching passed down quietly for centuries. Suffering doesn't come from what happens, it comes from clinging. Not clinging with your hands, but with your identity. When we believe we must always be strong, always be right, always be composed, we tighten around the parts of us that are naturally soft, fluid, and honest. And what begins as self-protection slowly becomes self-denial. We forget that freedom often starts with one gentle sentence: I don't need to keep holding this. The 4 of Pentacles is often read as a card about money, but it's so much more than that. It speaks to fear of not having enough, not being enough, not staying in control. And yet what it teaches us is quiet but profound, that real power comes not from what we grip, but from what we allow ourselves to release. Like a breath we've been holding for too long, the release is subtle and deeply transformational. Think for a moment. What are you still holding that no longer belongs to you? Is it someone's opinion from years ago that still dictates how you see yourself? Is it the weight of always being the strong one? Is it the guilt of walking away from something that no longer nourished you, even if others didn't understand why? These are not small things. But they are not yours to carry forever. Healing doesn't mean you forget. It means you remember without needing to relive the pain. It means you make peace with what can't be changed and take back the energy that's been stuck in the past. One of the most powerful tools for this kind of healing is silence, not the kind that suppresses, but the kind that allows space for emotion to breathe. Just sitting with a feeling, without naming it good or bad, without needing it to leave, can be an act of radical compassion toward yourself. You might try writing a letter that you never intend to send. Not for them, for you. Let the words come unfiltered. Let your truth spill onto the page without judgment. And when you're done, just sit with it. You don't need to burn it or hide it or analyze it. Just allow it to exist. Because that's often all a wound needs, permission to be seen without needing to be fixed. Leo, you've spent so much of your life standing tall for others. But this moment, this inner shift, is about softening for yourself. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to explain. You don't have to pretend something didn't hurt. You only have to be honest. And from that honesty, something new begins. Not louder. Not stronger. Just freer. Sometimes, what feels like a small moment on the surface ends up changing the entire tone of your life. A message you weren't expecting, a spontaneous invitation, a simple thinking of you that softened something you didn't realize had hardened. The Three of Cups and Page of Wands arriving now suggest exactly that: a spark of connection, a bright interruption to your routine, something light and joyful that brings fresh air to a part of your spirit that's been holding its breath. It's easy to overlook these things, especially when we're caught in the mindset that only big, dramatic events matter. But often, it's the smaller joys, the laughter you didn't plan, the compliment you didn't expect, the smile that lingers longer than usual, that recalibrate your energy in the most profound ways. Celebration doesn't always have to be loud or public. In fact, the most powerful kind of celebration is often the one you do privately, the kind that whispers to your nervous system, "You're safe now. You can relax. Something beautiful is here." So many people wait for permission to celebrate. They wait for a big promotion, a milestone, a clear external validation. But what if you could celebrate simply because you chose to keep going? Because you showed up for yourself again today, even when it would have been easier not to? There's a quiet wisdom that says, joy doesn't always arise from favorable circumstances. Often, it arises when you stop resisting the goodness that's already here. Think of a flower that blooms not because the world is perfect, but because the sunlight touches it at just the right moment. These unexpected bursts of light in your life right now, no matter how small, are your sunlight. They are invitations to open, to receive, and to recognize that not every breakthrough has to feel heavy or earned. Some just arrive because your heart is finally in a space to notice them. The Page of Wands adds a youthful energy to this moment, not in age, but in openness. It reminds you to stay curious, to let something surprise you. When we become too focused on outcomes, we stop seeing what's right in front of us. This card urges you to stay awake to possibility, to keep looking for joy in places you've forgotten to check. And most importantly, to realize that wonder is a choice, not a condition. Now, when paired with the Three of Cups, the archetype of shared joy, reunion, emotional connection, we see a message emerging that's more than just optimism. It's about presence. It's about realizing that the life you've been waiting to enjoy might already be unfolding around you in soft, subtle ways. But you won't see it if you're only looking for fireworks. You have to become receptive to the candlelight, too. One of the most beautiful practices is to consciously create a moment of celebration, even when there's no reason. Light a candle and drink tea slowly. Send a message to a friend just to say thank you. Play music while you cook and let your hips move without asking why. These aren't distractions. These are sacred pauses, brief but meaningful acts of self-recognition. They train your body to feel what it's like to live with more ease. And when your body learns ease, life begins to respond in kind. Leo, you've carried the fire for so long. You've been the one others leaned on, the one who kept pushing even when it felt like no one saw you. But now, this energy says, let joy find you. Let someone reach out to you. Let yourself be surprised by how loved you already are, even by people who haven't said it yet. And if no one else throws you a celebration, then let today be the day you give it to yourself. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally recognizing the beauty in all that is already here. Leo, if you're still here with me now, I want you to pause for a moment and really take that in. You didn't just watch this video. You chose to be present for your own awakening. And that, my dear Leo, is no small thing. Because what you've just experienced is more than a forecast. It's a mirror. A mirror showing you the path your soul has been quietly building, one intuitive step at a time. From the very beginning, when you first felt the tug of something unusual about today, until this very moment, where everything begins to make sense, the energy has been guiding you. But the truth is, it wasn't the universe alone. It was your own light calling you back to yourself. Everything we touched on today, the unexpected blessing, the moment of bold action, the decision to release what no longer serves, the spark of celebration that reawakens joy, all of it is already within you. The cards, the signs, the numbers, they're not magic tricks. They are confirmations. They are sacred echoes of what your inner wisdom already knows. And that's the part one hope you truly hear. This isn't about luck. This is about alignment. It's about the version of you that has been showing up, even when tired. The version that kept faith alive in quiet ways. The version that is now ready to receive. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't even need to feel ready in the conventional sense. You simply need to remember that you were never waiting for permission to shine. You were always the flame. And today, June 27th, is not lucky just because something beautiful might happen. It is lucky because you are finally seeing that you've become the kind of person who can hold that beauty. Who can recognize it. Welcome it. Grow with it. So ask yourself this, gently, what is one thing you're ready to welcome today without resistance? What is one belief you're ready to soften? What is one simple action you can take, just one, to show the universe that you're no longer hiding your light? Because yes, the external signs are important, but what you choose to do with those signs is where your true power lies. And if any part of today's message stirred something in you, if a sentence felt like it was meant just for you, or a thought landed deeper than expected, then I want you to honor that feeling. Not with pressure, not with overthinking, but with presence. Let it guide what you do next, however small. Maybe you write something down. Maybe you make a call. Maybe you simply take a breath and whisper, "I'm ready." And I would love to hear what that readiness looks like for you. What made today feel like more than a regular day? What moment reminded you that this might truly be your time? Share it in the comments, not for validation, but as a sacred declaration. Because the moment you name your light, it expands. And your voice might be the sign someone else is silently praying for. Before you go, I just want to thank you sincerely for being here. For showing up not just for me or this channel, but for yourself. Your support, your energy, your presence here on Eternal Mindfulness is what allows these messages to keep flowing into the world. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps us grow this space where light meets clarity. So thank you truly. And don't forget to tap that subscribe button and the little bell, because what's coming next might just be the moment you've been waiting for. But for now, hold this truth gently in your heart. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle.